So soft bend through the knee, just finding those 3 points of contact between the feet and the mat. So standing tall through the spine, so just feel the head being pulled up towards the ceiling, vertebrae begin to lengthen and separate. So we're going to just focus on our pelvic position. So just start by tilting the tailbone under, so feeling the lower back here begin to flatten. And then taking it in the opposite direction, so tilting the pelvis forward, lifting the bottom out behind you. So just accentuating that curve through the low back. Just take it backwards and forwards a couple of times. And just coming to rest in that midway position where it feels natural and neutral. So you'll still have that tiny little S curve in the lower part of your back. So just resting the hands down by the sides and maintaining this posture. Let's just start to connect with our breathing and our centering. So inhale through the nose. So as you inhale, the ribcage expands laterally as we draw the air into the bottom of the lungs. And as we exhale through the mouth, the ribcage begins to soften. So full long exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. So just keeping the shoulders relaxed, just allow the movement to go laterally through the ribs. Inhale. So this time as we exhale, let's start to pull that tummy button in. So starting to hollow through the abdominals, firing up that core. Inhale again, relaxing the tummy. And as we exhale this time, pulling in that tummy button, starting to fire up those pelvic floor muscles as well. So providing that full corset, that full support through the midsection. We're just starting mobilizing through our shoulders, our upper body. So inhaling. As we exhale, we're just going to start circling the shoulders behind us. So just starting to get a little bit of movement into that ball and socket joint through the shoulders. So just starting small to begin with. Just keeping that length through the spine. So keeping the tummy button and everything active here. So as we roll the shoulders back, we don't want the tummy button to come out. It's just the shoulders moving here. You can take it a little bit bigger. So inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you take it out behind you. We're just lifting the weight off the arm. Let's do a couple more. Exhale and inhale back to center. Let's take it around the other way. So starting small again. So just building that range of motion as we warm up, as we find that control of the movement. So keeping tall here through the spine as well. Exhale. Exhaling as you take it around. Just try and get a little bit bigger now with those circles. Just allowing the arms to hang by side like a little ragdoll. And exhale. It's really weird when your arms come forward, they look really long. Last one, let's take it forward and lower the arms down. Just give them a little bit of a shake. So we're going to float the arms up to shoulder height and then bend at the elbows. So we've got a right angle. So now we can feel the weight of the arms just pulling onto the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades are active. So just starting to mobilize here through the thoracic spine. So inhaling. As we exhale, just be mindful to keep everything here nice and rigid and active. We're going to bring the forearms together, so rounding through the upper back, almost as if you're trying to fold your collarbone in half. So squeezing the arms together, inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to take them behind us. So let's squeeze behind now, so the elbows come past the shoulders. Again, keeping the tummy button active so we're not pushing everything out. So I want you to imagine you've got a walnut between your shoulders. You want to try and crack that in half. Inhale, let's bring it around the front. And exhale as we bring the arms together. So really squeeze the hands, the elbows, just really open here through back to back. Gently release on the inhale and exhale, let's take it back. Nice little wake up for the shoulders if you've been driving, working today. Let's bring it back around on the inhale. Last one, exhale, let's bring those forearms together. Really squeeze it tight. And inhale. Last one, exhale, let's take it back now. Really taking those shoulders behind us, keeping everything else nice and stable. And coming back to center on the inhale. So just be mindful, again, of keeping the rest of the body stable. So remembering those headlights on your hip bones, or imagine wearing a pair of concrete trousers. So we're just moving here through the upper body. Inhale. As we exhale, we're going to rotate around to one side. So just keeping the hips facing forward. So we just want to rotate again through that thoracic spine. Inhale, bring it back to the center. And exhale it around the other way. So just allowing the head to stay in its neutral position. And bring it round. Exhale, take it round again. So working the upper and lower body in opposite directions, just to accentuate that spinal rotation. Last one round the other way. Inhale, let's bring it back to center, and you can lower your arms, give them a little shake and a roll. We all good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. Okie dokie. So working a little bit more now into the side of the way. So the arms can just stay by your side. So as we exhale, I'm just going to slide one hand down towards the knee, but just keeping this shoulder level. So imagining you're between two panes of glass, and we don't want this rotation through the upper body. We're just taking it down laterally. So working into lateral flexion here of the spine. So you should feel the stretch here coming from sort of your hip up to the side of your rib cage. Let's inhale back to center and take it the opposite way. So just starting to lengthen here through the obliques and back to center and the other way. Inhale it back. Try and get a little bit further down now towards the knee if you can, whilst we're warming up the sides of the body. Let's do one more each side. Exhale it down. Always coming up tall as you return to center. Last one, exhale, let's take it down. And bring it back. So your upper body is nice and warmed up now. Nice and mobile. So we'll move into the lower body. So we're starting through the hips and the knees. We're going to go into our little chair sit. So just starting with the hands, just resting on the thighs, just to get that feedback, make sure that we're keeping our posture. So just taking the pelvis back into neutral if it's shifted. Inhaling here. As we exhale, we're just going to bend through the knees. So just allow the hands to slide down, keeping the heels pushed down towards the floor. So it's only a little movement. Just imagine perching on the back of the chair, preventing the upper body from folding forward by keeping the hands where they are. Inhale, let's bring it back. Exhale, let's take it down again. So keeping those spine extensors active, keep us where we need to be. Pulling the head back up towards the ceiling as we stand. Let's do one more. Exhale. Feel that strength building here through the thighs and through the calves. And inhale it back up. So staying with the leg movement now, taking the hands away. So just bringing a bit more awareness to what we're doing here. So keeping it in that upright position. And then we're going to add some movement to the upper body. So working flexibility at the upper and lower body together. So a little bit more going on. So we're just going to place the hands, either they can be here in front of you or out to the side. Just take them away from your legs. Inhale. Just check in with your pelvis. As we exhale, let's take it down into our little sit. So just again, just checking in with your upper body that we're not folding forward. You want to keep that pelvis in neutral, keep the spine nice and long. Inhale, bring it back. Let's do another two. So the knees are coming over the toes. Just have a little look at your knees, make sure they're not rolling in towards each other. So we want to keep that straight line from your hip down to the toes and back to center. Last one, let's take it down as you exhale. And inhale, bring it back. So final challenge, particularly maintaining that stability, that position of the upper body. As we get down now, we're going to circle the arms overhead. So you've got that natural incline to kind of lean forward. You want to circle the arms overhead whilst keeping this where it needs to be. Okay, so let's give that a go. Inhale. Exhale, so we're bending through the knee, keeping the body upright. Let's circle the arms overhead, just coming up alongside your ears. Keeping that tailbone turned under, and then let's stand. Let's do another 2. Exhale, dipping through the knees, taking those arms forward whilst maintaining that length through your spine. And bring it back. Let's do one last one. Exhale, dipping through those knees, take those arms overhead. So really reaching through the length of the fingers. Feel that stretch of the back. And bring it back. Well done. Give everything a little shake and a roll around. Okay, so we're staggering our feet now. So just changing our basic support. Bringing a little length into our legs. So just take the feet again to hip distance. Just taking them forwards and backwards of the hips, toes are pointing towards the end of your mat. Just starting with some lunges into this front leg. So we want to keep the back heel pushed down to the floor. Pelvis is neutral, so we don't want to rotate towards that back leg. So keep your headlights facing forward. Just placing your hands either on your hips for a bit of feedback or wherever you want them to be. As we exhale, let's take that front knee over the toes. Again, we don't want to fold forward with this. We want to keep the upper body upright. So we want the movement here to come through the hips, keeping that back heel pushed down. So you should feel this stretch here down this back leg. Push through that front leg to come back to standing. Exhale, let's take it down again. Keeping the shoulders nice and neutral, pushing it back up to standing. Exhale, let's take it down. So we're going to add our arms again as we did with our chair. So if we lunge forward, our arms are going to circle overhead. So just thinking about sort of controlling from the shoulder here down to the hip. So let's give it a go. Inhale. So we exhale, let's lunge on that front leg, taking the arms overhead. So you should have a nice straight line from your fingertips now down to your heel. Feel that length through the whole back of the body. Pushing through that back leg, front leg, sorry, as you come to standing. Let's do another 2. Inhale. Just checking in with your pelvis. Exhale, let's take it forward. Arms come overhead. Keep the spine nice and long. Lunging a little deeper now if you can into that front leg. Keeping the back heel down. And back to center. Last one on this side, and we'll flip it around. Exhale, let's lunge. Take the knee over the toe as the arms circle overhead. Exhale. Really reaching through the length of the fingers, pushing that heel behind you. Just feel that length building through the back of the body. And bring it back to center. So bringing the feet together, give your legs a shake. Opposite leg comes forward now. Just so we develop everything uniformly and evenly. So just take the feet into their staggered position. Again, we want the hips to be facing forward and not rotating towards that back leg. Coming tall through the spine, just coming into neutral with the pelvis. So we'll do 3 lunges without the arms, and then we'll add the arms in front of the 3. So inhaling here. Exhale, let's take that front knee over the toes, pushing that heel behind you, keeping the upper body upright. So remembering that chain, pulling the head up towards the ceiling. Back to center. Let's do another 2. Exhale. Really lengthening through that back leg. You may feel a little stretch as well into the front back hip. Bringing it back to center. And last one, exhale. Can we get a little deeper now with our lunge, keeping that back heel grounded. Push it back to center. Adding our arms now. So we want to create that straight line from the heel to the fingertips. So inhale. Exhale, let's lunge as we circle those arms overhead. So really reaching through the length of the fingers whilst keeping the shoulder blades drawn down back. So just accentuating the length of the body. Inhale, bring it back. Let's do another couple, always coming back into neutral. Exhale, bring those arms overhead. Keeping everything facing forward and bring it back. We've got one more to go. Inhale. Exhale, exhale. Well done. Let's push it all back to center. Bring the feet together and give it a shake. How's that feeling? Okay, good. All good? Great. Okay, so coming back with the feet side by side, we're going to now work into the inside of the leg, so into the adductor muscles. So we're going to take the feet wider than hip distance. So the further they are, the tougher it is, and the more we've got to think about our balance. So just take them to a point where you feel that you're in control. So I'm going to take one foot and just turn it out towards the corner of the mat. So just external rotation through this leg. Bring the other foot to a right angle. So it's pointing towards the end of the mat. Hips stay facing forward. So just placing the hands on the hips to start with if you want to, or they can come out to the side. As we exhale, we're going to take this rotated knee over the toe. So we're stretching here through the inside of this leg. Just pushing that knee away from you, keeping the heels pushed down to the floor. Inhale, let's push it back. Exhale, let's go again. So into a warrior pose. So this is a yoga pose. And push it back up to standing. Exhale, let's go one more time. And we get a little bit deeper with this one. Keeping the upper body facing forward and push up through that leg. So we're going to add some arms here as well, a little bit of lateral flexion. So I'm going to give you a couple of options. If you want a little bit more control of the movement, we can keep one hand on the thigh. So as we rotate, so as we flex to the side, we're just going to take this arm overhead. Otherwise, we can take both arms and get a little bit deeper. It just depends what you can tolerate there with your lower back. There's a little bit of flexion going on there. So just choose your layer. We'll do another 3. So inhale here. As we exhale, let's take the knee over the toe and take the arms overhead. So stretching here through this side of the body. So we've got this nice length building down the side. Taking the arm where it's comfortable, pushing back up to standing. Exhale, let's go again. So taking that knee as the arms come overhead. Finding you're holding onto a big old beach ball. Taking the arms around it, pushing up again through that front leg. So building up some nice endurance as well in that front leg. Exhale. Can we get a little bit deeper now? So feel a bit of a deeper stretch through this back leg. Really reaching here through the side of the body and push it back to standing. Well done. You can lower the arms down, just bringing the feet back into their neutral position. We're just going to focus on a bit more flexibility into the hamstrings before we do the opposite side. We're just working on our pelvic control and our balance as well. So we're just going to hinge forward from the waist. So what we want to think about here is moving the upper body as a single unit. So everything from the shoulder to the hip stays in its neutral position. So we're just hinging here through the hips. So you can place the hand on the hips with that little bit of feedback. Just have a soft bend through the knee. Inhale here, just check that you're in neutral. And as we exhale, we're just going to hinge forward through the waist. So just allow the waist of the upper body just to come down to a point where you feel you've got control of that movement. Just feel the abdominals kicking in here as well to keep us stable. So we just want to go to a tabletop position no further. With slow and control. So it's just building up strength here within our hips, engaging through the abdominals. Inhale. And as we exhale, it's building up those spine extensors. So those muscles that help bring us back up to standing. So good to keep those nice and flexible. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take the feet now in the opposite direction. So one foot comes parallel with your mat. The opposite foot now is going out to the side. So really opening out through that leg. Just keeping the pelvis facing forward, so you might give yourself a little bit of a shuffle around. So just taking the hands either on the hips or out to the side. Start with our 3 lunges and then we'll add our arms. So inhale, just check everything is neutral. And as we exhale, we're just going to take that knee over the toe. So just opening through the inside of the thigh here, pushing up through that front leg back to standing. Exhale. Ooh, creaky floorboards. Let's go back up to standing. And last one, exhale, keeping the heels pushed down into the floor. Just allow the muscles through the legs to do the work. Feel them lengthening as we go and push it back up. So we're going to add our lateral flexion now. So again, 2 options. Layer 1, your hands on your thigh. Layer 2, they both come around holding the floor. So choose your level. Inhale. As we exhale, let's lunge, take the toes over and circle through the arms. So we want this length here from the shoulder right down to the toe. Feel that length here on the inside of the thigh. And push it back. Let's do another 2. Exhale. And take it over. So just taking it to a tolerable level for you. We don't want to go any further here than this nice straight line. And back to center. 1 more to go. Let's take it over. Exhale. Really reaching through that top arm. Bring that length into the movement. Can we go a little bit deeper on that front leg? And push it back to standing. Well done. Lower the arms down. Give them a shake. And a roll around. You can bring the feet back now into neutral as well. Both okay?
Yeah. That's a jelly light now.
Yeah. I'm feeling over as well. Looking my shoulders. Okay. So we're going to go and do a roll down. So we'll do 1 set without the band, and then we'll bring the band in just to add a bit more resistance to the movement. So depending on your level of tolerance in terms of spinal flexion, you may not be able to get too far down, but we can work with that and see where we go. So we're just going to start again in neutral. Just checking in with the pelvis, coming along through the spine. Just allow the arms to hang loose down by your side. So I want you to imagine that you're a piece of wallpaper and you're coming unstuck from the wall. So that slow, gradual, curling movement. So that's what we're going to do with our spine. So a good one for mobilizing each of the vertebrae, keeping the spine nice, flexible and healthy. So inhale. As we exhale, we're just going to begin by dropping the chin down to the chest. And then each individual vertebra begins to just gently move down towards the floor. So soft bend through the knee, so we don't want to add any additional core on the low back. So just starting to lower the hands down towards the floor. You begin to feel a stretch again through the hamstrings, through the back of the legs. So just take it as far as you feel in control of that movement, you feel balanced, you feel comfortable, and just hold it there. Take a big inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to reverse that movement. So allow the breath to last for the whole movement. So beginning to stack the spine up to standing. So starting with the tailbone. And just bringing 1 vertebra at a time. Stacking the spine back up as your head floats up towards the ceiling. Ooh, so nice and slowly does it. 1 more of those. Then we're going to have a go with our band as well. Just adds a little bit more challenge. Okay, so let's begin with the chin. Exhale, drop the chin to the chest. And just gradually engage each of those vertebrae, just dropping yourself down towards the floor. Full exhale as you go. Bracing through the abdominals, pull those abdominals in towards your spine, just to provide that support here as we come down. As we get to the bottom again, just enjoy that stretch through the back of the legs. Inhaling here. And as we exhale, let's begin to turn that tailbone under, lifting up towards the ceiling. So working those spine extensor muscles again. Nice to keep those active, good for bringing our posture back to where it needs to be. Just allow the hands to hang down by the side. Ooh. Nice reviving one that is. Do you want to grab your bands? So we're going to do the same movement again. So just see how different it feels. So you're almost sort of, it's wanting to pull you down towards the floor. So you're having to just work a little bit deeper with your stabilizers and your control. If it's too much with the band, then you can get rid of it and just do what we've just been doing. So just stand with both feet on the band like this. And just bring it up to stand. Hopefully you've got a nice long band. You can bring it all the way up. So it's now already trying to sort of pull you down. So we want to do that same movement again, but just bringing a little bit more control. So just finding neutral, soft bend through your knee. Inhaling here. And exhale, bring the chin down towards the chest. Same speed as you had before. Just working against that band. So you might feel that your abdominals are working a little bit harder this time. And just take it down to the same point. Just feel that stretch through the thighs. Inhale here. And exhale, let's reverse that movement. So now we're pulling the band up. So you're pulling against gravity a little bit more. So stacking that spine back up to standing. So the spine extensors now probably feel quite challenged. Does that feel all right for both of you?
Yeah, fine.
Oh, that's a good sign. It's good strengthening this for the whole length of the spine. So we'll do one more of those. Inhale. Exhale, let's take the chin down to the chest. Just keeping the arms straight by your side. And just working against that band as you lower yourself down to the floor. It's one vertebra at a time. Coming to rest at the bottom of that movement. Feel the stretch through the back of the legs here. Inhaling. And let's go up one last time. Exhale. So allow the breath to last for the whole of the movement, keeping that contraction through the core, through the pelvic floor. Really working those spine extensors hard now. And bring it back up to standing, just allowing the head to float on top. Ooh. Well done. Let's get rid of the band, just bend your knees. Release, get rid of it for a minute. I'm going to come and sit down onto the floor. So we did these same movements last week, but they're quite good for building strength through the core, working with our band as well. So a few ab building exercises this time. So let's come and sit down. So again, I'm going to give you two options as I did last week. So less taxing on the low back, your knees are bent. Otherwise, the knees are coming long. Whichever position we're in, we want to find those bony points at the bottom of the pelvis. So they're providing our basic support. So just bringing the head up again towards the ceiling, just bringing the pelvis into neutral. Band is going to come around your feet. So if you've got your knees bent, you can just flex your feet up. So bringing the toes up towards the shins. We're just going to start with a couple of hinges through the hips. So the same movement we did when we were in our standing position with our legs wide. So just moving everything from shoulder to hip as a single unit. You're just grabbing the ends of your bands of each hand. Inhale. As we exhale, just hinge it backwards. So pulling deep into those abdominals. So just working here on our pelvic stability. Building up a little bit of length through the backs of the legs as well. And inhale, bring it back. Let's go again. Exhale. As you're exhaling, remembering pulling the tummy button in towards the spine, always holding about a third of the full contraction, just to provide support for the midsection. Okay, we'll do one more. Exhale, let's take it down. Keeping the elbows tucked in to your side, just keep everything towards the midline, keeping the feet pushed down to the floor. Inhale, let's bring it back. Just release the arms for a minute. So stay with the same movement now as we hinge back. We're going to add a rotation, so bringing a bit flexibility again into the upper back whilst controlling through the pelvis. So grabbing your band, just checking in with your posture. Inhale. Exhale, let's hinge it back. I'm going to bend one elbow and just rotate it around, just taking the gaze over that shoulder. So rotating through the upper and middle back. And inhale it back to center. So just slow and control. So just work with what you've got. You might find as you progress, let's take it the other way, that your range of motion improves, even on the second or third repetition. It's just activating the right muscles and providing support in the right places as well. Exhale. And inhale. So providing flexibility to the upper body, we're preventing any sort of unnecessary recruitment of muscles in the lower back and through the hips. And let's take it the other way, exhale. And flexibility through the lower body just makes us able to move a little bit more dynamically, a little bit more confidently as well. Let's bring it back last time. Exhale it the other way, keeping that elbow tucked in as you pull it behind you, looking over that shoulder, hinging through that waist. Feel the abdominals working deeply here and back to center. Well done. So this time I'm going to take it forward. So it's building length here through our hamstrings again. So really good if we do a lot of sitting down, a lot of driving, that sort of thing, where these muscles can just begin to shorten. So good to activate them now and again. So inhale. As we exhale, we're going to hinge it forward. So we're bringing the head towards the toes. So you feel that length through the back of the legs. So try to keep the knees straight if you can. If it's too much, that's fine. Just take them as far as you can towards the floor, where you've got that stretch through the backs of the legs. So working into the calves as well. And inhale, bring it back. We'll do another couple. Exhale. Just reaching the head towards the toes rather than dropping the chest towards the thighs, if that makes sense. You just get that extra little bit of length. And bring it back. Last one, nearly there. Let's take it down. Exhale. And inhale it back to center. Well done. You can discard your strap for now. Both all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just going to check where we are with the time. Blimey. Okay. So I'm going to move you onto your tummy. You won't, you can have your band just in front of your head, and we can use it. You just have it to hand, so you don't have to shift whilst you're down there. So just going to lie flat on your tummy with your arms outstretched in front of you, and just allow the spine to settle. So just noticing the contact with the hip bones and the pubic bone and the mat. As you bring the pelvis into neutral, just pointing the toes as well, just to activate through the backs of the legs, and reaching the fingers away from you. So you should already feel that length through the back of the body. So we're going to work on our spine extension now. So we've done flexion through our roll down. So taking the spine in the opposite direction, but we just want to focus on the thoracic spine, so on the middle back. So we're just coming down as far as our bottom rib. So anything further than that really starts to strain on the low back. And some people can get away with it, but most of us, it can be quite damaging. So we're going to start with our arms outstretched. So just thinking about your sort of the lower rib as a hinge. So we want to just move as far as that and keep the rest of the body relatively stable. So as we exhale, we're just going to walk the hands towards us. So just lifting up through the shoulders. So just taking it as far as you can tolerate. So just thinking about, again, just lifting each vertebra individually. Keeping the abdominals pulled in, so you should feel them lifting away from the mat, just to provide the extra support around the middle. And inhale, take it back down. As we exhale, let's go again. So the legs are active here as well. They're providing that anchor for the low body, just so you've got more of that control around the pelvis. So just pushing up away from the floor, just to stabilize through the upper body to allow you to extend through the spine. And lower it back down on the inhale. So we'll do one more, and then if you feel comfortable and confident, we can use a strap. Otherwise, we're just going to stick with this movement. Let's do one more. Exhale. Let's bring the hands up towards us, keeping that bottom rib in contact with the mat. So you may be able to extend a little bit more through the upper back, but we don't want to start reaching down into the low back. So just pushing away from the mat, just almost sinking into it, relaxing into it. And gently lower it down. Feel okay for both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So we're going to now, you can either stay with what we're doing, or we're going to take the hands out of the scenario, so it's just the spine extensors working. So we haven't got the support of the hands anymore. So we're going to take our strap. You can do it without the strap as well if it's too much. I'm going to start with, we're just going to bring the elbows sort of towards our shoulders. So our hands are sort of just tucked under our shoulders, just holding on to the strap. You can see me. And as we exhale, we're just going to lift up through the upper back again and just raise the band and just stretching opening up through the shoulders. So it provides you with that little bit of activation through the shoulders, that little bit of lift. And gently lower it. Okay, let's do another one. Exhale. So just bring some tension into the band just to help lift up through the back without having your hands on the floor. Just provides a little bit of extra support, and lower it down. And last one, exhale, let's lift, keep the feet grounded into the floor. Just enjoy that nice stretch, opening up through the chest as well. And lower it down, well done. Okay, so you can come and just rest your head on the back of your hands. You can discard your band for now. We're just resting the arms for a little bit. Now going to work the legs, so working into hip extension, so taking the leg backwards as well, so working into our glutes. We have done this before with the leg bent, with the leg straight, sorry. We're going to do it with the leg bent this time. So we're just going to bend the knee on one leg, the other leg can stay long on the floor. And just flex the toes, so the toes coming in towards the shin, so everything's sort of at a right angle. We're just going to start by finding those glute muscles to start with. So because we would naturally lift the leg, we would work into the low back. So we want to make sure that we're engaging the right muscles. So we're just finding quite a comfortable position to start with, making sure your pelvis is neutral with those three bony parts in contact with the floor. Inhaling, and as we exhale, I just want you to squeeze your glutes. So just find those muscles on both sides. Just bring your cheeks together. And you may find that's enough to start to fire something up in the low back. Exhale, keeping a good squeeze. I've got that walnut again, and I'll try to crack it. So just do a few little activations. Okay, so on the next one, once we've engaged our glutes, we're just going to hover the knee off the floor. So we're just lifting up into a bit of a donkey kick. Just try and keep the hip down. So we don't want to be leading with the hip because that then starts to rotate through the low back. So we want the hip just to provide that feedback for us so that the glute is active. It might be a tiny little lift, that's absolutely fine. The more often we do it, the more control we'll get of that movement. So just lifting and lowering at your own pace. Just finding those muscles, making sure that they're active before we then move. Exhale as you lift, squeeze. And lower it down. Okay, let's lower that leg towards the floor. Maybe your lower back a little shuffle around if you need to. Bending now the opposite leg, so pulling the toes in towards your shin. So again, just finding that activation through the glute. Just have a little play, make sure you found it. Inhaling. And as we exhale, let's just start to hover that knee, keeping the hip pulled down to the floor. And lower it. So just taking it up and down again at your own pace. Quite a challenging one, so I'll just let you work out what's comfortable for you. But again, really important for building that scaffolding really around the low back. And lower. Let's do one more. Exhale. And lower it down. Well done. You see people in the gym doing these donkey kicks and it's just absolutely pointless because they're doing this, which just does nothing. Nothing is working. It's just all coming from the low back. The difference when you sort of activate through the core and the glutes, you've barely got any movement there. As soon as you let that go, you're flapping around like anything. So just goes to show what good muscle recruitment does for you. Right, we're going to move on to our back for a few last little movements through the hips. And do some nice stretches. Along with that. It's one of the reasons people put off exercise when they've got pains and injuries because they haven't learned how to do it correctly. Okay, so going to lie on your back. We're going to grab our bands actually. Grab our bands, bring a little bit of mobility into our hips. So just starting with the legs bent. Just come and find neutral again with the pelvis. So we want that natural little arch through the low back. So we're going to take the band around one of our feet. We're going to start with the knee sort of drawn in towards the chest. Just having one end of the band in each hand, just tucking the elbows in towards you, just so we can keep control of the movement of the leg. We're just going to start with some extension, so good at building that strength through the knee, but also flexibility through the hip. So inhaling here. As we exhale, remember activating through the core first before we extend that leg away. So building into our lower abdominals here as well. Inhale, let's bring the knee back towards us. And exhale, push it away. So leading the movement here with the heel. And bring it back. So the band just helps keep the knee in that single plane, keeps it in alignment with the hip. It also provides that extra resistance to feel that strength through the leg without it being a weight-bearing exercise. So let's bring it back. Okay, one more extend as we exhale, and we're going to hold it there. So we're going to lift and lower the leg now. So make sure that the bent leg is grounded. So find those 3 points of contact with feet. Make sure the lower back is neutral and comfortable. Pulling the toes towards you as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're just going to lower the leg down towards the floor. So just take it as far as you can without starting to arch through the low back. So the lower abdominals are working here. So if you find you've got weakness in the lower abdominals, then you might find that you're flaring through the midsection. So just take it as far as you can where you've got that control. Now as we inhale, we're going to bring it back. So you can take it a little bit further than your midline now. So stretching through your hamstrings. So your hamstrings should be nice and warmed up by now. So you might find that you can get the feet a little bit further towards your nose. Inhale here. As we exhale, let's take that leg down. So really building up your range of motion with the band is a lot easier because you've just got a bit more control of what the leg is doing, and you can extend that movement as well. So good at increasing your range of motion if you do this fairly regularly. Okay, let's do one more. Exhale. Lower that leg down towards the floor. Keeping control within the hips, within the abdominals. And inhale, bring it back. Bring the toes up towards the ceiling. And lengthen through the back of that leg. Well done. Let's bend that knee and drop it down towards the floor. And we'll take it onto the other side to start with, yeah. So just keeping the elbows tucked in. We're just going to lengthen that leg now. So exhale, just push the heel away from you. So we're just straightening through the knee. And inhale as you bring it back. So just starting to warm up the lower abdominals. We're ready for our lifting and lowering. So exhale, push it away. So the foot and the knee should stay in line with the hip, just using the band as a bit of a guide. Exhale, let's push away. So remembering as we exhale, we're pulling that tummy button in, so providing that stability around the low back. And bring it back. And this time as we exhale, we're going to extend. And I'm going to keep the leg there, so the leg stays long. So just find that stability within your pelvis. We're going to start lifting and lowering that leg. So inhale here. As we exhale, dropping that leg down towards the floor. So keeping it straight. So just taking it as far as you can whilst keeping control through your middle, through your low back. If your low back starts to arch, then bring it back. We need to work on our lower abdominal strength. Inhale, let's bring that leg back up towards the ceiling, keeping the leg straight. And if you can, just take it a little bit past your hip, bringing it down towards your nose, so lengthening through the hamstring, just keeping the hips down on the floor. Exhale, let's take it down again. We'll do another two. So just really taking your hip through its full range of flexion here. So bringing flexibility into your hips. Bringing that leg up towards you, lengthening through the hamstrings. Last one, exhale, let's lower it down. So keeping active through the core the whole time. So everything but your leg is staying stable. Let's inhale, bring it back towards the nose. let's bend that knee now. Bring the foot down towards the floor. And you can get rid of your band. So just rolling onto sides, we're going to push ourselves up seated. Give ourselves a couple of stretches. So just taking the legs where they're comfortable. We'll start with our upper body. So let's take the arms just out to shoulder height. And I want you to imagine that you're combing your hair. So we're going to take one hand over the head, brush it around the back and take it long. We're just stretching here through the shoulder and through the arms. Give the wrist a little circle around as well if you go. Get quite tired holding those bands, don't we? And take it around. Just really reaching to the opposite side of the room as you take it over. Exhale, let's circle through the wrist. Oh, and last one. Okay, let's lower it down. So we're going to a little roll down with the spine and then just open up through the chest. So let's just start with our hands in front of us. So we want the pelvis to stay stable on the floor, so keeping those bony parts pushed down. We're just going to roll down through the spine as we did when we were standing. So inhaling here. Exhale, let's drop the chin to the chest. And just allow the hands to start to crawl out in front of you as you roll forward. So nice release here for the spine. So just taking the hands forward, making sure to keep the pelvis pushed down. So don't allow your bottom to come off the floor. Just allow that length to come from the spine. Just enjoy this stretch for a couple of breaths. And exhale, let's bring it all back. Rolling through the spine, bringing it back up to seated. Inhale as we come to center. And as we exhale, we're going to take the arms wide, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pushing the chest forward, so just extending through the back. And gently release, we'll do one more, inhale. Exhale, let's roll the hands forward, collapsing through the midsection, taking the spine into flexion. Keeping the hips pushed down, just creep the hands a little further forward, stretching through the back of the body. Taking a couple of breaths. Big inhale here. And as we exhale, let's begin to stack the spine. So just building the vertebrae back one on top of the other. Inhaling as we get to the top. And as we exhale, let's take those arms out. Squeeze the shoulders, pushing the chest forward. And gently lower the hands down on the sides. Well done.